and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage United States Senator Ron Johnson.
How's everybody doing? Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you so much for coming here and showing this level of support. You know, I love you guys. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Now listen, you know, it's been almost 4 years to the day when President Obama, speaking to a crowd of his supporters, said that in 5 days he was going to fundamentally transform the United States of America. So, what does that transformation look like? It's not looking so good, is it? He's added $5.4 trillion to the backs of our children and grandchildren in terms of debt. We've had unemployment over 8% for 43 months. The median household income of America has declined by $4,500 during his recovery. You know, America, we've got some problems, and they need to be fixed. But I tell you what, the way you do it is not by transforming America, it's by returning to our founding principles. I mean, you really have to ask the question, if you think America needs to be transformed, how much do you really like the country you're in charge of? I mean, they don't go together. Listen, we know that America is a land of bounty. It's a land of abundance. It should be a land of unlimited opportunity. But it is not under this president. You know what the missing ingredient is? Leadership. President Obama doesn't have a very good record of leadership. You know, when he came into office, he totally controlled government. A filibuster-proof Senate. He met with Republicans, basically told them to take a hike. He said, "We won." And then he proceeded to pass $800 billion stimulus. Didn't work. Obamacare, that will destroy our health care system. Dodd-Frank, that didn't exactly fix the problem. And now in his last 2 years, now he's been faced with divided government. Has he been able to do what Mitt Romney was able to do in Massachusetts? No, he's been able to do nothing. His last two budgets, while we are facing the most predictable financial crisis in our history, have been voted on now 3 times in the United States Congress. You know what the final vote tally is? 0 to 610. That's not leadership. That's an abdication of leadership. We need true leadership. The good news is we have November 6th, and we have the opportunity to elect true leaders. You know, we've got to run the table, folks. We've got to retain the House. You need to send Tommy, not Tammy. Because when Republicans have a majority in the Senate, we'll pass a budget, unlike the Democrats under Harry Reid. And we must deliver Wisconsin's 10 electoral votes to the next President and Vice President of the United States, Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. Now, we all know Paul, a man of intelligence, integrity, courage to put forward real proposals. And, of course, Wisconsin, we were collectively excited when Mitt Romney picked Paul as his running mate. But what it really confirmed for all of us is that Mitt Romney is a man who is dedicated to solving the problems, at putting forward real solutions. You don't pick Paul Ryan if you're not willing to put real proposals on the table. I truly believe Tommy Thompson, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, these are men created for this moment in history, this pivotal moment where this election is about saving America. We've got to work hard to save America, everybody. So for the next 4 days, this is the attitude you need to take into those next 4 days. Remember Florida of the year 2000, when 534 votes decided that election. I truly believe that this election is about saving America, and I truly believe that this election will be decided right here in Wisconsin, right here in Milwaukee County, right here in Milwaukee. Right here with the individuals that you are going to get out to vote. So here's your quota, here's your goal. You vote, get 10 more people, and we will turn those 10 electoral votes over to Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. So, speaking of extraordinary men, people that have demonstrated true leadership, it is now my honor and privilege to introduce somebody that Wisconsin does not need to be introduced to. A man who was shown to be a leader on the field, and then even more so a leader by being generous with his time and his talents once he left the field and devoted those time to his family, his friends, his community. So without further ado, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Green Bay Packer legendary number 15, Bart Starr. And Sherry Starr.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for such a warm reception. This is quite a thrill for my wife and me to be here today with you. We love you too. Unbeknown to you, we lived here in Green Bay for 31 years. It will always be our adopted home. This is a joy for me to be here this morning just to say a couple of things to you, and forgive me, but I wanted to write them down because I thought they were so important. But what I brought to share was this great book, which was written by Coach Lombardi. He said, "What it takes to be number one." If you read inside this, and I'm going to just cite a couple, he's talking about Mitt Romney. But he's talking about the man who has the qualities that he's re-emphasizing inside this publication. That's why I brought it with me. I thought, wow, this is unreal. The things that he is saying, what he has done. And that's why I wanted to, just for a moment, to share a couple of thoughts that I took from this, and I'll come right back to it and close. It was interesting to be able to read this and then reflect on my career in football, because I was very fortunate to be with some very, very special people, coached by an exceptional gentleman and leader. And so I wanted to quickly put a couple of thoughts I think would lead me up to this today. I noted that during my career in football and business career, I had the great honor of meeting and associating with many outstanding leaders, as many of you have. It's exceptional when you can. This list includes some of the best football coaches of all time and numerous small business owners. There are also, obviously, in those groups and others that all of you can identify with, there are certain qualities which surface quickly when you know those people. I've noted integrity, unselfishness, vision, dedication, and the willingness to unify individuals into a team. And that's, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, what I have seen in Governor Mitt Romney. Someone put a piece of right across the lens of my glasses. But I just think that when you look at how successful he's been, everywhere he has been, and what he has done, I am very confident when elected president, he will confirm and make those remarkable levels of success everyday achievements for us. Because that statement that I said earlier, which I'm going to repeat, I think is so true. Ladies and gentlemen, some people come into our lives and stay for a while. Some people come for a while and move quickly forward. The great lessons learned from those in either area that we are privileged to have the capacity to make us better people. And I think when we have the opportunity to look at a book like I brought to make this point to you, that Coach Lombardi wrote, What It Takes to Be Number One, you can easily understand why if you and when we elect a Mitt Romney, we will be electing a truly, truly special gentleman, because that's what Coach Lombardi has written about it, and you could just thumb through a couple of pages and see exactly why I wanted to say that by using this little booklet. The two things that I wanted to bring out of this that Coach Lombardi mentions up front, first in this: integrity and excellence. I can't think of two stronger words to close my comment about this gentleman than by using the reference of him with those two words. My wife and I are honored to be with you, thrilled to be back in Milwaukee and Wisconsin whenever we have the opportunity, because of having lived there for so many years, as I noted earlier. You people are the greatest in the world, and we thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Romney's colleague from the Salt Lake City Olympic Games, Ann Wall.
Hello, everyone. See a lot of familiar faces out there. Wow, it's a pleasure to be here with you today to talk about the future of our nation under Mitt Romney's leadership. As the next president of the United States, Mitt Romney can restore America's promise. He can return the opportunity for all Americans to realize their dream. I had a chance to realize my dream. I carried the torch in the 2002 Olympic Games. Thank you. But more important than that, I had a chance to work with Mitt Romney for 3 years with the Olympic Organizing Committee. When Mitt was president of the Salt Lake Organizing Committee, I served as the manager of the brand protection function. For the Games, Mitt chose as our slogan, "Light the fire within." By that, he meant reach further, strive harder, dig deep within yourself, and move faster. With this as our motto, Mitt helped us turn around our organization, and he restored the global image and the reputation of the Olympic brand. Mitt knows how to unite people around shared purpose. Through a sense of shared purpose, Mitt united Olympic stakeholders so that rather than competing against one another for limited resources, we work together. The 2002 Winter Olympic Games were a celebration of strength and resilience and the human spirit. This was a shared purpose that united us, and it healed our nation after 9/11 in 2001. Do you remember when that tattered flag from the top of the World Trade Center was carried into the Olympic Stadium? Nowhere was it more evident than then how we united and healed a nation. The Salt Lake Organizing Committee faced serious challenges when Mitt and I joined in 1999. It was mired in politics, running a deficit, and spending money it didn't have. Does that sound familiar? All right. Mitt's what we need at the top of our organization in Salt Lake, and he's what we need now in Washington. Under Mitt's leadership, the Organizing Committee went from deficit spending to generating a revenue surplus. We generated enough revenue to achieve our goals and to leave a legacy fund. What kind of legacy do you want to leave your children? Is it one of debt and hopelessness, or one of hope and prosperity? I'd like to share a few examples of Mitt's leadership style that worked well in Salt Lake and I think will work well in Washington. First, Mitt aligned our corporate culture with our mission and values. He created an optimistic, energetic, and goal-oriented work environment. He clarified our primary objectives, and then he set the pace necessary to achieve them. He believed in us. He inspired us. And he encouraged us. Mitt has a way of bringing out the best in people. He was inclusive, approachable, and open to suggestions. Mitt hired the best talent, so it's not surprising that many of us in middle and upper management were women. Mitt also fostered cooperation and teamwork. By assembling cross-functional teams, we worked more closely with one another. This provided greater transparency, it eliminated waste and redundancy. Demonstrating sound fiscal responsibility, Mitt made sure the resources and support were necessary to achieve our key goals and objectives. Sure, we had to cut our budgets, and we had to reduce our spending, but Mitt helped us establish our priorities so we could achieve the most important goals first. We learned that we could depend on Mitt during a time of crisis. Are you satisfied with high unemployment? And how about less than 2% growth in GDP? Well, I'm not either. I know we can do better. It's time for a real recovery. Come on. Let's unite under Mitt Romney's leadership so we can rebuild trust and confidence in Washington and encourage greater transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. Let's move away from deficit spending and begin to balance our budget and reduce our national debt. Mitt Romney can restore America's image and reputation to one of strength and prosperity. He can restore the promise of America. And it's up to us to carry the torch for Mitt Romney when we go to the polls next week. Thank you. I now have the honor of introducing Reince Priebus, the chairman of the National Republican Committee.
Are you guys ready to hire Mitt Romney, fire Barack Obama, and save America? Let me hear you. Are you ready to win? Are you ready to win? This is our rendezvous with destiny. This is our time for choosing. And we are in a battle for freedom today. It's the same battle that founded our country. It's the same battle that James Madison reaffirmed in the Bill of Rights. It's the same battle that founded our party right here in Ripon, Wisconsin. We're in a battle for freedom. And you all know that a country that has to surrender its sovereignty to its bondholders can't guarantee prosperity or freedom to anybody. And a country that buries its kids and its grandkids in an avalanche of debt can't rest in any vestige of the moral high ground. And we know a country that's controlled by China can't compete with China. We're in a battle for freedom, and Mitt Romney is the antidote. We have a choice to make. We have a great choice to make in this country. We have a choice. We have a choice between a man of his word, and we have a choice between a man of many words. We know we're going to take the man of his word, and that's Mitt Romney on Tuesday. I got to ask you, how many people here have been to the World War II Memorial? A lot of people. Well, I took little Jack here to the World War II Memorial a little while back, and we've got little Grace with us here today too, and Sally's out there. By the way, isn't it nice that we named our kids Jack and Grace as opposed to, Reince Priebus? I mean, what is going on? So what happens when a Greek and a German get married, okay? Anyway, so we took Jack over to the World War II Memorial. And for those of you that have been there, I think you'd agree with me, you get out of it what you're willing to put into it, right? And so Jack and I walked around, and Saw the great quotes, and he's a good little reader from Nimitz and Eisenhower and all of these heroes from that time. And then we walked up to that wall. You all know those 4,000 golden stars. And you start to figure it out that for every one of those golden stars, 100 little guys, obviously a little bit older than Jack, didn't come home to mom and dad. And it really hits you. You can never put your shoes in a parent that goes through something like that, but it hits you hard. And then you look in front of those stars, and in gold on the black granite, it says, "Here we mark the price of freedom." We're in a battle for freedom in this country. We have a candidate, we have a nominee who is a man of success and a man that embraces the American dream. Isn't it great that we're in a party that embraces the American dream? Isn't it great that we have a nominee that embraces success? We celebrate success. And I'll tell you what, when I grew up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and my dad, who was a union electrician, he retired from the Racine Unified School District. He did what all your parents did. When we drove past that pretty house on the corner, right, my dad didn't point to the house and say, "Hey kids, look at these lousy people over here." He did what all your parents did, right? He pointed to the house and he said, "Listen up, pal. If you work hard, you go to school, you're going to be in that house." And you know what? Mom and Dad, we prayed that it's 3 times bigger, and here's the deal. There is not a Democrat parent in Wisconsin, and there's not a Republican parent in Wisconsin that wishes upon their kids this glass half empty life of Julia Obama. This president's trying to jam down our throats, and we're going to get rid of it. So let me ask you, Wisconsin, are you ready to finish the job on Tuesday? We're going to finish what we started on Tuesday. Are you with me? Wisconsin has the opportunity to write the last chapter, to finish the job, light the pathway for liberty and freedom. And we've got the man who started that battle with us, and somebody who's going to lead us along with Governor Romney and Paul Ryan, the greatest in America, Scott Walker.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Are you ready for a victory on Tuesday? Thank you. Well, I'm going to talk about that for a second. You see, I was just telling Mitt. We love you too. We do. Now I got a request. Remember, 2 years ago today, on November 2nd, 2010, on my birthday, you elected me the 45th governor of the great state of Wisconsin. Today is my 45th birthday. And I don't want gifts. I don't want cards. I don't want presents. I'm asking this simple thing for my birthday. If you've got an hour or 2 or 3 or more between now and 8 o'clock next Tuesday, I need you on the phones. I need you on the doors. There's no Badgers game tomorrow. You got no excuse on Saturday not to be on the doors. I need you at church telling your friends. I need you when you go back to work. I need you when you pick up the kids. I need you when you're going to fish fry. I need you everywhere and anywhere, because I feel good about this, because today's my 45th birthday. I'm the 45th governor of the great state of Wisconsin. And with your help, we're going to elect Mitt Romney the 45th president of the United States. Now, you all were so amazing, not just 2 years ago, but when you helped us earlier this year. You see, in this state, with your help, we made 4.5 million voter contacts. So far in this campaign, you haven't let us down for Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan either. We've made 4 times as many calls and 45 times as many door knocks, and we're not done yet, are we? But I want to tell you why, after all that, after 2 campaigns in the last 2 years, after thousands of miles and meeting tens of thousands of great people in this state, why I'm working so hard to elect Mitt Romney as our next president. You see, I don't have one reason, I have 2. One's named Matthew, the other's named Alex. They're both with me. One's a freshman in college, the other's a senior in high school at Wauwatosa East. And the reason I'm working... Sure, you can clap for them. Tonette, the great First Lady of Wisconsin, is with us here as well, right next to Matt Alex. In fact, I've been traveling a lot lately with Tommy Thompson, who's going to be one heck of a guy taking on the mess in Washington, and he's heard me say this before. But those are the reasons why I'm working so hard for Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. You see, it scares me to death. Having a freshman in college and a senior in high school, it scares me thinking that the next 4 years could be like the last 4 years. You see, today we got new job numbers out. 7.9% unemployment, ticked up a little bit from last month. That's on top of 43 consecutive months of unemployment at or above 8%. I don't know about you, but any of us who have got kids, particularly my kids' age, or just a few years away, you understand that 4 years from now, you'd like to have the opportunity for your sons and daughters to have a chance of getting a job here in America. And if it continues down the path we're on, I'm really scared about that. I know not just for all of us here as supporters, but in the next few days, when you reach out and talk to people, many of whom may not have even made their mind up yet of who they're going to vote for next Tuesday, tell them stories about your children and your grandchildren. Because, see, that's what it's all about. You know, we know that Mitt Romney had an incredible career in the private sector, turning businesses around that otherwise would have failed. And thousands of people owe their jobs to that today. We just heard from Ann Wall the great story about how Mitt Romney took the Olympics that otherwise would have been a huge global embarrassment for the United States, instead made it a shining example of success and innovation. But most important to me, what I saw years ago when Mitt Romney was governor of Massachusetts, he took a state where he inherited a budget deficit, balanced the budget, did it without massive tax increases in a way that helped the people of his state, the small businesses of his state, create more jobs. And you know what? He did it all in a state that was overwhelmingly controlled in the legislature by Democrats. You know what that tells me? It tells me if you've got friends and neighbors and coworkers and others who haven't made their mind up, don't tell them to vote for Mitt Romney because he's a Republican. Tell them to vote for him because he's a reformer who can get the job done, who'll get America working again. Mitt Romney has proven that he can create jobs, that he can balance the budget, that he can get us down the right path, and he can do it by truly bringing people together. Not the way the president talks about it, which has failed on each of those counts over the last 4 years. He can truly bring America together again. He will get America working again. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the man I hope is the 45th president of these United States, Mitt Romney.
Are amazing. Thank you so much. What a welcome. Thank you. That is a very generous welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much. You got that one right, by the way. You got that absolutely right. 4 more days. This is a great experience to be here with you today. This is so exciting. What a great state. What a great welcome. And by the way, this state is going to help me become the next president of the United States. I want to thank Governor Walker for that extraordinary introduction. What a great governor you have. You're very lucky. I know that took some work. Senator Johnson, thank you, Senator Johnson, for your help, and also Lieutenant Governor Clayfish, thank you for her help, and the former governor and future United States Senator Tommy Thompson. Thank you, Tommy. Chairman Reince Priebus, a hometown guy, and Hall of Famer Bart Starr. Thank you very much. Thank you. Old friends here too. Ann Wall, it was kind of her to speak here. My son is also joining us, and my youngest son, he's been campaigning. My boys have been campaigning all over the country. This has been a family affair for us, and their support means and yours, and the work you have done, the contacts made in Wisconsin over the last months have just blown everybody away. And I want to thank you for the work you're doing. That's going to help us get this victory. Now, our thoughts today also turn to people in the country that are still recovering in many cases from the hurricane that hit the Atlantic coast. A lot of people having very tough times. And I hope you'll keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And if you have an extra $1 or more, you can send it to the American Red Cross or to the Salvation Army or other relief organizations to help fellow Americans. We are a nation of generous hearts, and those hearts are called upon in a time of crisis like this. I want to thank you for all that you've done and all you're going to do in the next 4 days. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate being in the home of the next Vice President of the United States. You know, next to Anthony, Paul Ryan is the best choice I've ever made. I got to tell you. Now, we're just entering the final weekend of the campaign. And as you know, at the Obama rallies, they're shouting 4 more years, 4 more years. And I just heard you. We're shouting 4 more days, all right? And we're so very grateful to you and to people, frankly, across the country for all that you've done, all they've done to give yourselves to this campaign. And as you know, this is not just about Paul and me. It's about America. It's about the future of our children. We thank you, and we ask you to stay at it all the way to the finish line, because we're going to win on Tuesday night. You know, the closing hours of a campaign have a dynamic all their own. A lot of voters have known for some time who they were going to vote for, but there are others that are just now putting aside the demands of their daily life and considering how their vote will affect their own life, the life of their children, and of course the course of the country that we love. And we ask them and you to look beyond the speeches and the ads, look to the record, to the accomplishments and the failures, the judgment. Words are cheap. A record is real, and it's earned with real effort. Real change is not measured in words. Real change is measured. And for Obama promised to do so very much, but he's fallen very short. He promised to be a post-partisan president, but he became the most partisan, blaming, attacking, dividing. He said he was going to focus on creating jobs. Instead, he focused on Obamacare, build jobs. He said he was going to cut the federal deficit in half, and then he doubled it. He said he was going to lower the unemployment rate down to 5.2% right now. Today we only 7.9%, and that's 9 million jobs short of what he promised. Unemployment is higher today than when Barack Obama took office. Think of that. Unemployment today is higher than on the day Barack Obama took office. He promised that he would propose a plan to save Social Security and Medicare from insolvency. He didn't. Rather, he raided $716 billion from Medicare to pay for his vaunted Obamacare. He said he was going to lower health insurance premiums for the average family by $2,500 a year by now. And actually by now, $1,000 higher for an average family. And gasoline. The American family now pays $2,000 a year more for gasoline than when he was elected. Of course, he also said work across the aisle on issues. Listen to this. He has not met on the economy or on the budget or on jobs with either of the Republican leader of the House or the Senate since July. Instead of bridging the divide, he's made. Now, how is it that he's fallen so short of what he promised? In part, it's because he'd never led before. He'd never worked across the aisle before. He never truly understood how jobs are created in the economy. And of course, today, he's now making new promises. Promises he's unable to keep. Because he admits that he'll stay on the same path he's been on. And the same course we have been on will not lead to a better destination. And you know this. The same path we're on means $20 trillion in debt in 4 years. It means crippling unemployment continues. It means stagnant take-home pay, depressed home values, and a devastated military. And if we change course, we may well be looking at another recession. The question of this election comes down to this. Do you want more of the same, or do you want real change? And we bring real change. Candidate Obama promised change, but he couldn't deliver it. I promised change, but I have a record of achieving it. I helped track. With a Democrat legislature, I helped turn my state to serve jobs. Look, this is why I'm running for president. I know how to change the course that the country's on, how to get us to a balanced budget, how to jobs and help raise take-home pay. Accomplishing real change is something I don't just talk about, it's something I've done. And it's what I'm going to do when I'm president of the United States, with your help. And so to people in America, if you believe you can do better, if you believe America should be on a better course, if you're tired of being tired, then I ask you to vote for real change. Paul Ryan and I will bring real change to America from day one. I know that when I'm elected, the economy and the American job market will still be stagnant. But I won't waste any time complaining about my predecessor. I'll go to of responding to our plan to create jobs. Part one, as you know, is about advantage of our energy resources. On day one, I'll act to increase the number of leases and permits to drill on federal land. I will act to speed the approval of the Keystone Pipeline from Canada. I will visit coal regulations that were designed by the administration to strangle the industry. Instead, make sure we can use the resources we have in a clean and responsible way. You see, day one, we will be closer to North American energy independence. Now, second, I'm going to move to boost trade, especially in Latin America. I'll ask Congress for trade promotion authority, and that's a power every president has used or requested since it was created back in 1974. Oh, except President Obama. And I'll finally designate China as a currency manipulator. It's time for getting trade to work for America. Now, third, I'm going to send to Congress the Retraining Reform Act to make sure that every worker who feels left behind in this economy can get the skills and the chance for a good-paying job. And fourth, I'll move to tackle out-of-control spending. I will. Now, I send Congress the first of several fundamental reforms. This first one will be called the Down Payment on Fiscal Sanity Act, to immediately cut, not just slow the rate of growth, but cut non-security discretionary spending by 5%. And by the way, I'm not just going to take office on January 20th. I'm going to take responsibility for that office as well. And number five, I'm going to act to boost small business and all business. I'm going to issue orders aimed straight at the problems that are holding this economy back. The first will grant state waivers from Obamacare to begin its repeal. The second example, launch a sweeping review of all Obama-era regulations with an eye to eliminating or jobs and small businesses. And every entrepreneur, every small business person, every job creator will know that for the first time in 4 years, the government of the United States likes business and loves the jobs and higher wages businesses can bring. We've almost forgotten what a real recovery looks like. What Americans can achieve when we limit government instead of limiting the dreams of our fellow Americans. That's what a real recovery looks like. It's within the power of the American people to choose their own. We know what we need to know. You can stay on the path of the last 4 years, or you can choose real change. You know that if the president is reelected, he will still be unable to work with the people in Congress. I mean, he's ignored them, he's attacked them, he's blamed them. The debt ceiling will come up again, and shutdown and default will be threatened, chilling the economy. The president was right when he said change Washington from the inside. In this case, you can take him at his word. And we're going to put him outside soon. Look, when I'm elected, I'll work with Republicans and Democrats in Congress. I'll meet with them regularly. I'll endeavor to find those good men and good women on both sides of the aisle who care more about the country than about politics. And together we're going to put the nation on track to a balanced budget, to reform our tax code, and to finally reaffirm our commitment to financial responsibility. It can happen. And you know, if the president were to be reelected, his war on oil and gas and coal. He'll send billions more dollars to his favorite solar and wind company. And all of this guarantees energy prices at the pump and fewer jobs. Gas costs twice what it did when President Obama was elected. When I'm elected, we're going to change course on energy. And I know just how much energy means to middle-income families across America. We can help hold down prices at the pump and grow new energy jobs and manufacturing jobs. You know how, by the way, if the president's reelected, he'll continue to promote government and demote business. You know, he chose his own jobs council. It was made up of the people he selected from the business community. Do you know how long it's been since he met with them? 9 months. 9 months. You see, I like business. I don't see it as a necessary evil. I see it as a means for people to fulfill their dreams. Yesterday I was with a woman named Rhoda Elliott in Virginia. She's been running her family restaurant business for years. A business that has been in her family for 82 years. At its high point, she employed 200 people. She just closed it down. And she told me that regulations and taxes, Obamacare, and the effects of the Obama economy put her out of business. And she teared up when we were talking. This wasn't about money. This was about a future for her family and for her family of employees. I want to help the hundreds of thousands of dreamers like Rhoda. And when I'm president, I will. You know, you also know You also know that if the president were to be reelected, he will say every good thing imaginable about education. But in the final analysis, he'll do what his largest campaign supporters, the public sector unions, tell him to do. And your kids will have the same schools and the same results. When I'm president, I'll be a voice of the children and their parents. There's no union for the PTA. I'll make sure that parents have the information they need to see whether their school is succeeding or failing. And I want to make sure parents also have the choice they need to be able to pick the school where their child has the best chance for success. Now, you and I have watched over these last few months as our campaign has gathered strength, the strength of a movement. It's not just the size of the crowds, it's the depth of our shared conviction, the readiness for new possibilities, the sense that the challenges are clear and our work will soon begin. It's made me strive even more to be worthy of the office, to campaign as I would govern, to speak for the aspirations of all Americans. I learned as governor of my state that the best achievements are shared achievements. I learned that respect and goodwill go a long way and are usually returned in kind. That's how I'll conduct myself as president. I'll reach out to both sides of the aisle. I'll bring people together, doing big things for the common good. I won't just represent one party. I'll represent one nation. I'll try to show the best of America. We will all do our best, because at a time like this, only the best will do. Now, throughout this campaign, using every argument he can think of, President Obama has tried to convince folks that these last 4 years have been a success. He's so sure of that he's got one big plan for the next 4 years. That is, he wants to take all the ideas from the first term, you know, the stimulus, the borrowing, Obamacare, all the rest, and then go back and do it all over again. That could be boiled down, that idea could be boiled down to 4 words: more of the same. I don't believe this is a moment when our big dreams will be satisfied with a small agenda. I'll lead America to a better place, where confidence in the future is assured, not questioned. This is not a time for America to settle. We're 4 days away from a fresh start, 4 days away from the first day of a new beginning. My conviction that better days are ahead is not based on promises and hollow rhetoric, but on solid plans and proven results, and an unshakable faith in the American people and the American spirit. I believe in America. I believe in the American people. And if there's anyone worried that the last 4 years are the best we can do, if there's anyone who fears that the American dream is fading, if there's anyone who wonders whether better jobs and better paychecks are things of the past, I have a clear and unequivocal message. With the right leadership, America will come roaring back. The only thing that stands between us and some of the best years we've known is lack of leadership. That's why we have elections, after all. This Tuesday is a moment to look into the future and imagine what we can do to put the past 4 years behind us. You saw the differences, by the way, when President Obama and I were side by side in our debates. says it has to be this way. I say it can't be this way. He's offering excuses. I've got a plan. He's hoping we'll settle. I can't wait for us to get started. Look, Americans don't settle. We build. We aspire. We listen to the voice inside us that says we can do better. A better job, a better life for our kids, a bigger, better country. That better life is out there. It's waiting for us. Our destiny is in the hands of the American people. 4 more days. 4 more days, and we can get to work rebuilding our country, restoring our confidence and renewing our conviction. Conviction and confidence that we're on a solid path to steady improvement. Confidence that college grads coming out of school will have a job waiting for them. Confidence that the single moms who are working 2 jobs will have a shot at a better job. On November 6th, we come together for a better future. And on November 7th, we'll get to work. We'll reach across the street to that neighbor with the other yard sign. And we'll cross the island to people of good faith and the other party. This then being our moment, it's America's moment of renewal and purpose and optimism. A long way in this great campaign for America's future. And now we're almost home. One final push is going to get us there. We've known a lot of long days and a lot of short nights, and now we're very, very close. And the bridge to a brighter future is there. It's open. It's waiting for us. I need your vote. I need your help. Walk with me. Knock on those doors. Get your friends to vote. This is a time of choice for America, a time for a better future. And you and I are going to accomplish it together. Let's start anew. Thank you so very much. God bless you. God bless this great country. God bless the people of Wisconsin. Thank you. You guys are the best. Thank you.